In this video lesson, we are going to look at how to format arithmetic calculated controls in a report. For example, changing it to a percentage or a currency format, and also applying a running sum for that total. It's on reports, so a report has to be based on a table or a query. I've got a table of information, and we can see there the kind of information that it's about. Vehicles that have been to a garage and the price of the vehicles. So we'll create a query based on that. You should already be familiar with creating reports, and I'm going to use the wizard to do this. Go through fairly quickly. Choose the table that you want to base your report on. Choose which fields you want to use. I want the registration number, model, capacity, and the price. That's just the information I want to have in my report. Carry on through the wizard. We can group at this stage based on one or other of the fields. If I choose, actually I'm just going to go back through the wizard to choose the manufacturer in there as well. So we'll choose to group by the manufacturer, and you can see what that does is has manufacturer as a subtitle with all the relative information about that manufacturer underneath. We can sort on various fields. But once we've grouped, we've also got summary options. That allows us to do a calculation based on the numerical fields in the report. In this instance, we've only got one numerical field that's suitable, the price field. And we can add up or get the average value or the minimum value or the maximum value. Or we could put all four in if we wanted. I'm going to keep things nice and simple and have the total value of all the fields. We can choose to show every record or just to have the group titles with the summary. So in other words, we'd have the group titles and just the total sum value of the price. In this one, I want to have all the records showing and carry on through the wizard. This is just about how you want your report laid out, what kind of orientation you want. And I'm going through it quickly because you should be familiar with this, what style you would like, and give it a sensible name. And then finish. And there is our vehicles report. I'll just change things around a little bit to make it easier to see. Okay, so what we have there is the vehicle report, grouped by the manufacturer, and within the manufacturer we've got all the cars that are relevant to that manufacturer. So there's two cars that are made by Austin, one car made by Daimler, and it shows the detail of all the records. And if I scroll across, we've got the price there, and then at the end, for the section of Austin, the total price, the sum price, is 11,140. It's basically added the value from the two records together. Let's have a look at that in design view. I'm kind of hoping that you're familiar with what we've done so far. If not, go back to my previous videos on Microsoft Access at level 2 to just revise how to create reports. Once we're in design view, the reports works very much similar to a form. We've got all the controls that we can add, and we can do all the formatting in the normal way. What I want to show you though is that we have a lot more sections. Page header, manufacturer header, detail. This section here from manufacturer header down to manufacturer footer is the grouping that we applied to the report. We grouped it by manufacturer, therefore we've got a manufacturer header, the detail that includes the individual records, and a manufacturer footer. Underneath that group, we've got the sum that's being created for us. That's a label. And if we just scroll across, we can see there's the calculated field that it's created for us. Make that a bit bigger so you can see. And it should basically put a function inside there, equals sum, brackets, and then the name of the field in square brackets. We can type those in. We can create our own calculated fields just by typing those in. And of course, you'll remember doing calculated fields on forms. We would do that using the control toolbox and the text box if we wanted to create our own calculation. And also remember that every object has its own properties. So this is where we can choose the properties. And just making sure you've got the object selected that you want to work with. And also remember you can use the drop down to choose it as well. So we've got the sum of price control. Now select all, then you can see all the properties associated with that control. We can obviously change the name of the object. There's the control source, that's the calculation. We can change the formatting. Let's change the formatting instead of currency to euro. And we'll change the number of decimal places to 0. Let's close that down and have a look at the report in print preview. And we can see there now the currency. If I just zoom in a little bit more, we can see the currency has been changed to 0 decimal places and it's now a euro format. So that's changing the properties of the control. In design view, make sure you've got the control selected, choose properties, and there's the formatting. Put it back to currency this time, and the number of decimal places, put it back to automatic. One other thing on here, again, have a good look around at what there is, but the other thing that I need to show you is the running sum. What this allows you to do is not add up just for the group, but add up everything throughout the whole report. Let's see what effect that has. So we've got our group total there for the first group at 11,000, but the total for the next group appears to be 15,000. But you can see from the record, the Daimler group, it's only got just under 5,000 in total there. So what's happening, because we've changed the sum to be running over the whole report, at each category change, it gives you the total and then adds on to the next bit as well. So the total of all the records down as far as here is 15,000. The total of all the records as far as here is 19,000. Now obviously you've got to have the right kind of data to make that kind of thing appropriate. That is formatting, using properties, the controls to alter the formatting, number of decimal places, and running sum.